What's up, y'all? It's Bria. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload a video. So this video is kind of different. I just wanted to come on here and talk to you all about my experience, like the comparison of me being on birth control versus me not being on birth control. I started birth control when I was a senior in high school in 2014. So I was on birth control for about 4 years. I honestly didn't have bad cycles before getting on birth control. Like, my periods weren't long. They were about 5 days. I didn't have a lot of like cramping, stomach cramps. I knew when it was about time for me to start, because my stomach would start cramping. I might get a slight headache. But it wasn't nothing like excruciating where I had to take medicine all the time. I honestly got on birth control because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to be pregnant. Let's just be real. I was going to college. I got on actually that summer of, no wait, when did I get on? I got on I graduated high school in May. I got on that May 2014, before I graduated. So I was starting college in the fall, and I honestly just got on it just for like extra security to make sure I wasn't going to be pregnant. But the birth control that I started taking was Junel Faye. It was just like a pill that I took every day, and it was like a low dose, but I mean it worked good for me as far as like not getting pregnant and stuff. But some of the changes that I noticed with my body while I was on birth control, for one, I did not have acne. Like, my face was clear as a baby's bottom. And I wasn't even drinking water like I should, taking care of my skin like I should. But that birth control kept my skin clear. That's one thing I do miss about my birth control, is that I didn't have acne and I really didn't have to try. I just had to take the pill. But so that was a plus with my birth control. Another positive about me being on it was my cycles were regulated, so I would know down to the day when I was gonna start, because for example, I would start the 3rd of every month, so January 3rd, February 3rd, March 3rd, and so on. It was rare when I didn't start on the exact same day of the month. So that was a definite plus, because I knew when I was going to start, so I knew when I need to go ahead and restock on my tampons, stuff like that. So I was never caught off guard. You know, sometimes I know people have had incidents where their period just came and they weren't prepared. I never really had that because my birth control regulated my cycle. Another thing about being on birth control, I didn't have to worry about getting pregnant. Even though I was on a low dose, I took it around the same time every day. And I didn't get pregnant while I was on it, so that's a plus. So now to the negatives about it and what I've noticed now that I'm not on the birth control. While I was on birth control, I would say maybe my 2nd year of being on it, I started getting very bad migraines, intense migraines. At first, it just started off as little headaches here and there. I was like, oh, you know, it's probably something I'm eating, so I kind of cut back on beef and pork, foods like that cause headaches. But after cutting back on those foods, and I noticed that my migraines were still there, I went to the doctor. I was like, hey, I'm having these really bad migraines. One day I went to the emergency room. I was in college, and I was just having a horrible migraine where my eye was throbbing, anything. I was so sensitive to light, noise. I had to lay down in a dark, quiet room. I was putting ice packs on my head, over my eye, because they were really intense right here. And I was kind of worried because my mom in the past, while she was pregnant with me, she had a tumor grow over her eye. It wasn't cancerous, but I was like, oh my God, what if I have this? You know, what if it's hereditary? So I went to the doctor. I went to the emergency room. They did all these scans, blood work, neuro exams, and they said I didn't have anything like that, but they asked for a list of my medicines. And the only medicine I was taking at the time was a women's multivitamin and my birth control. So they were saying it could be your birth control. So after I left the ER, I made an appointment with my gynecologist, and he was saying, okay, you know, with this birth control, even though it's a low dose, you're still, some of the side effects are migraines or headaches, so we'll change your birth control. So we changed it. I think the name of it was Altevera, something like that, honey. I don't know. So we changed it. It was still like a low dose pill, and I was on that for a couple months, and it still, my migraines still didn't go away. Like, they didn't subside at all. If anything, I honestly think they got worse. So I was like, you know what? I can't do this no more. I've been on this birth control for 4 years. I mean, I haven't had any major side effects, honestly, except for the migraines. But my migraines were so intense, like, I couldn't study. And I was in college. I was actually in nursing school. Like, I couldn't study. I was getting very moody. It just got to the point where I just couldn't take it anymore. So I was talking to my sister about it. And at the time, she was on birth control as well. She was like, I'm just going to stop taking mine. Maybe I just don't want to be on it anymore. I feel like my body is regulated by this birth control. I just want to come off of it just to see like how my body reacts. And I was like, you know what? I think I might do that as well. So I quit cold turkey. I just was like, you know what? I'm going to stop taking it. And I think I don't know if I would really recommend that if you are on birth control and you're thinking about stop. If you're on birth control and you're thinking about that you want to quit, I would probably see my doctor beforehand instead of just quitting cold turkey, because everybody's body reacts differently, and depending on the type of birth control, it might not be safe for you to just quit. So if you are considering like stopping your birth control, I would definitely see my doctor beforehand. So I stopped taking birth control, and like within a couple months, my migraines really subsided. I get them every now and then now. Like, I know when my cycle is fixing to come, because I will get like a headache, or I might get a migraine, like I said, very rare, but it's nowhere near as intense as when I was on the birth control, which, hallelujah, I'm so happy, because when I was on the birth control, like, I had migraines all the time, not just when I was fixing to start my cycle or when I was on my cycle. Like, I had migraines almost every day. Like, at least like 4 days out the week, I had a migraine. So now that I'm off the birth control, one of the positives for me is that I do not have migraines anymore, which is like a plus. That's probably one of the main reasons why I honestly haven't gotten back on, because I just can't do the migraines. Like, I had went to the doctor. They prescribed me sumatriptan, which is for migraines. I was taking like ibuprofen. Nothing was helping. So now that I'm just not taking the birth control and I'm not having migraines, like, that's a plus for me. And I probably won't get back on anytime soon, or I might consider like a different alternative if I decide to get back on. But honestly, I don't think I'm going to get back on in the near future. So another thing that I noticed about me, about my body and myself too, with me not being on birth control, is I do have acne now. One of the key things, like I said, when I was on birth control, is that I did not have any breakouts. It was very rare. Like, I would get a bump or like a pimple when my cycle was fixing to come on, but now like I do have more acne, and they're kind of dark. So I probably just have to now take better care of my skin. Like, I gotta drink water all the time. I gotta make sure like I keep my hands out my face. Make sure that, especially when I come from the gym, to make sure I really deep clean my skin and keep it moisturized. I might have to get some new products, but that's one thing that's kind of a downside with me not being on the birth control, is acne. But I would take acne over migraines any day. So I just probably have to just start taking better care of my skin. Another thing that I noticed different about being on birth control is like sex drive. I'm not going to go too much into detail because that's a little TMI. But when I was on the birth control, like, I had low like sex drive. Like, I don't know, I just I didn't feel like really confident. I was just never in the mood. But now that I'm off birth control, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna do the face. So, okay, I'm gonna keep it at that. But yeah, like, I guess I could say that I have increased sex drive, or just like the desire. I feel more confident, and I don't know if it's like a mental thing or if it has something to do with me being off the birth control. While you're on birth control, you might notice like you might have mood swings, or you might have decreased sex drive, or your body is just like controlled basically because of this pill, or because you're on whatever kind of birth control you're on. I still feel like no matter what type of birth control you're on, it affects your hormones, it affects your personality, it affects like your entire body system. That's just my honest opinion. I know they say like, oh, you can get on this contraceptive and it doesn't control your hormones, blah blah blah, it's just controlled in that certain area. I don't believe that. That's just my honest opinion. But I now being off birth control, I don't feel like my body is hormonally controlled. I feel like it's more free. It could do whatever. Sorry, I got a text message. But I feel like my body is free. It can just do whatever. Like, it's natural, you know? And I like that. I noticed like a difference in my personality. I don't feel like I have mood swings, especially when I was on my own birth control. I feel like I had real bad mood swings. I mean, I'm still kind of grumpy and like emotional when I'm on my cycle, but I think that's when anybody. As far as my cycles go though, they've been a little crazy. Like I've been off birth control now for 8 months. Like the first 6 months like was fine. I came around the same time every month. I wasn't still coming like the exact day like I was when I was on the birth control, but it was around the same time, like the 4th week of every month. I knew, okay, my cycle was fixing to come on. Now, like January and February, I have had 2 periods a month, which I think is kind of weird. I'm probably going to do some research, talk to like some doctors on my unit because I work on a women's floor just to see like, is that normal? But like January and February, I've had like 2 cycles each month, which I don't like. So I'm honestly thinking it might have something to do with my body, like it's finally being out my system, because sometimes birth control, depending on the type of birth control you're on, the dose and how long you were on it, it can take some months for it to be completely out your system. That's why they say if you're trying to get pregnant, wait maybe like 3 months before after you get off your birth control to start trying to have a baby. So I think maybe now my body is just like, the birth control is completely out my system and it just has to get back on track, not being hormonally controlled. So, but that's just my opinion. I think over the next couple months, my body's going to get back on track. It's going to get used to not being controlled by these hormones, and my period will hopefully go back to being normal at least once a month. Because like I said, prior to getting on birth control, I only had a period once a month. So hopefully we go back to that. So am I thinking about getting back on birth control? No, I'm not. I like not being on. I like not having migraines. I like not having to wake up and take a pill every day, because I honestly don't like medications. I mean, who does like being on medications? But I don't take any medicines. The only thing I take is like a multivitamin, just like a adult multivitamin that I take every morning. And that's all I take. I don't take any other medicines. Like if I get a headache or something every now and then, I try like some Advil or something. But that's it. I'm honestly not thinking about it. I did go to I got a new gynecologist. I went to her and she was offering like, are you sexually active? Are you thinking about having kids in the future? If not, we have these types of birth control. But I was gonna go back to get like the birth control that goes in your arm, Nexplanon, that's what I think it is. And I had to reschedule an appointment, but something, well, I'm not gonna say something, God told me to just do some research. So I did. I got on Google like everybody else. Like Google is the doctor. So I got on Google, and I mean, you can find some true stuff on Google. Don't believe everything that Google says, but I like to get on there to honestly look at people's reviews. So I just got on Google and I was looking at like side effects, and I got on YouTube too, and just seeing like different women who've been on Nexplanon, their experiences, and like a lot of people did not recommend it. Some people were saying that it got lost in their bodies, that they started having like really bad bleeding, they noticed weight gain, they noticed headaches. And like I said, I know that birth control will be different for everyone because everybody's body is different. But after reading like all those reviews, it was a lot of bad stuff. I just was like, you know what, I'm not gonna do it. After reading those reviews, I was like, oh hell no, I am definitely not fixing to do this. And then I looked at like the IUD. I was like, no, I don't. And I looked at the other types of contraceptive, like the different types of pills, the patch, the NuvaRing. I'm not feeling it. So especially since I was on birth control for like 4 years, I'm just gonna give my body a break. Maybe in the future, or like when I get married, I probably will get back on birth control until we decide to have kids. But right now, honey, I am loving not being on it. So thank y'all for enjoying my video. I hope I didn't ramble or do too much. I hope I didn't like ramble or give TMI, you know, too much information. But I hope y'all enjoyed my video. If you like this kind of content, make sure you thumbs up this video, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and I will see y'all in the next video. And give me like some video suggestions, y'all. I know that y'all like my nursing videos, so I'm gonna do like a new nurse update. Cooking videos, like my salmon video is getting up there. So if y'all have some different videos that y'all would like to see, make sure you leave them in the comment box, and I will see y'all in the next video.